Hello and welcome to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers. This is Joe Justice doing something a little bit different today's episode. I've been sitting down with my buddy Bob, and we are going to try to figure out a topic that we can discuss in less than 10 minutes. I'm going to set the timer here for 10 minutes, something that'll actually help move the needle in your business and help you move forward as you're trying to, adventure out on your entrepreneurial journey. Bob, real quick, why don't you give us a little bit of a history of who you are and your background?
Sure. Again, I'm Bob Theuring. I own a company called Tandem Innovations. I do coaching, success coaching, business coaching, life coaching, leadership, whatever synonym you want to plug in there. Most of my clients are small-sized companies, have an owner that wants to make changes in the world, make big things happen. And it ties into how we live an extraordinary life, create excellent businesses, create excellent systems, et cetera, et cetera. So I work with those kind of clients and just kind of help them live out their dreams.
Great. Well, Bob, the topic I want to talk about today, as you know, the podcast is called the Kanawha Valley Hustlers, and I thought we might touch on kind of the negative side of hustling and kind of the hustle culture, and that's burnout.
Okay.
I want to talk to you a little bit about burnout, how to spot it, and how to stop it. So first off, when you're thinking about burnout, what that means, what does it mean to you?
Well, to me, it's just it could show up a lot of different ways, Joe, but to me, it's just that it's more of a feeling, that feeling, if that makes sense. It's an exhaustion. It is I just don't want to do it or can't do it or don't have the energy to do it. It could be a number of things, but the similar thing is some level of just monotonous dissatisfaction, maybe.
Well, I think the best way to spot it to me is now, not everything that you do in your business do you love, but you usually have enough passion about you should. I do feel like you should have enough passion about your business that you're willing to slog through the stuff you don't enjoy to be able to fulfill what you see as your mission, right? And it's when you get to that point where it's like, I just can't do it anymore. I can't get out of bed. I can't bring or you'll notice it with little things like, I just can't write that email. And it's like, just write an email. That's super simple. You just click new email and then type. But that's what I consider to be burnout. When it's something you're passionate about, something that yesterday or maybe a week ago you were excited to do, and now today you can't even lift your laptop about it.
Well, you mentioned the word passion. I don't know, because maybe it's your lost a little passion equals the burnout.
Do you think that's the same thing, a loss of passion?
Not necessarily, but it could be, because I know plenty of people who are successful business people that love their business, but maybe they're in the trash business. It doesn't mean they love the trash business. They love whatever their mission is, which, by the way, I think that's kind of the point, is coming back to your mission, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's right. And you do see people. I don't see them as much with entrepreneurs. I definitely see people that have jobs that just grind them down, and they're not happy, and they're probably never going to be happy because that's not really it's not fulfilling. It's not their mission in life. But a lot of entrepreneurs, I feel like, they start because they do have a passion, and they're able to go for a certain. I think that's the difference between an entrepreneur and an employee, is they actually have enough passion behind their mission to be able to push through that. And if you're not in those kind of initial stages able to do that, you'll never really be as successful. Okay? And I think that might speak a little bit to the difference. There's a difference between being tired and being exhausted and being burnt out. I think they're a little bit different.
I think you're right. And the funny thing is, as you were talking, my gut was one of the keys to get out of it is to shift it off of yourself. Now, sometimes people are having that burnout because they've let people just beat them down. So there's an aspect of self-care that's involved in there at the same time. But I interviewed a guy one time that handled dogs. There's more to it, but that's what he did. And he trained them. And he says, I go home every night smelling like dog. I smell awful. He says, but I get up every morning so excited because of what I'm doing to train. And these were important dogs. They did a lot of good mission work. And I was like, wow, that's... Now the question is, did he get burned out every once in a while? I can't imagine he didn't. I'm sure he did at times. But he had systems in place. But most importantly, I think he took it off himself and realized this is a mission that's critical for me. And I think it's just a shift of a mindset. Now, again, Joe, if you're burned out and worn down, well, you might need some self-care, some exercise, some relaxation, and things like that. So it kind of depends on the person.
Yeah, and I think that might be the trick, is because they're identifying in yourself. There are times that you just need to push through. That there are times when the sun's shining, go make hay. It's like business is rolling in. You don't want to miss it. And then there's other times, when it comes to burnout, where it's you just don't have the energy to move forward anymore. It's like you start to you see the phone ring and you start to feel that dread. Like I feel like that's a little bit different.
I agree, and I've been there.
I've been there too,
and I might be there tomorrow. I mean, it happens. But again, it circles back to having good systems in place too, I think.
So let's talk about identifying this, because what we're basically saying is, like, I don't think, what might cause burnout for one person wouldn't cause burnout for somebody else. What might show up as burnout for one person wouldn't show up in somebody else. So how do you think that you can kind of set yourself up to be able to identify when you're maybe pushing yourself too far, when you need to kind of take a break, when you need to kind of, maybe relax from that kind of hustle culture a little bit?
You mentioned in our conversations before about journaling. I think you mentioned you can recognize trends in yourself. I think that's an excellent point but again, consistently doing the journaling. And Bob, I'm too burned out to do the journaling. Well, there's a paradox there, obviously. But I think if you consistently do a system of list making, of recapping, of journaling, but the other thing is reviewing these, Joe, going back and reviewing them. And I think you told me you noticed a pattern. You didn't notice it.
Yep.
In the moment.
Yeah, I noticed a pattern recently with my journaling whenever I would have a big workload, a lot of stuff I had to get done, was spending a lot of hours. Oddly enough, my journaling would get longer and more detailed. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's an aspect of me trying to offload the work or I feel like it's probably me trying to fit everything. It's like if I could just nail down the details, then I can get it done faster. But that's not, obviously that's not. But that's how I started to notice. It's like, oh, this is when I'm doing too much, is because it's like it's all I'm thinking about and it's all that's in my head. Those are good time periods to go take a walk, right? Those are good time periods to maybe go see a movie, maybe shut your phone off. And I know not everybody has that luxury all the time. But I also feel like if it's impacting you to a very negative degree and you can't take 2 hours to go see a movie, probably need to change your life a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, those are signs. There are signs that's going on there. And an inventory of what's going on and maybe even why might I be burned out here? Yep. And that probably here's the reasons. I'm this, and this. It's I hate my work. Okay, let's go deeper into that. Why do you hate it? I'm tired. I'm sick of the people. And there's so many ways of looking at that. But if we just get burned out, and in today's culture, what is popular today? Busy. Most people, Joe, I work a bunch of hours. They're not actually doing it. They're distracted for 75% of it.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. We're all guilty of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in the instant culture of today,
Yeah. So my big takeaway as we're kind of wrapping up here on that, everybody take a little piece of advice: turn off your notifications, turn off your phones, turn off your emails, all that, at least for a couple hours a day. What do they call it? There's actually a word for it. They call it a digital detox.
Sure.
That's actually a thing now where people, it's like, nothing's really that important. You're not gonna die if you don't jump on that instant message.
And it's habit, Joe. If I'm in that habit, it's what I do. So break a habit and spend some time focused.
Yeah.
Give you, like the person with, all the attention. Don't worry about what's going on over there. And it might, honestly, that can maybe in itself dig you out of the burnout.
That's I totally believe that. And I know for me personally, my favorite thing to do is yard work. I put in a book on tape or a podcast or something like that. Spend 2 hours chopping wood, and the next day I feel great, and I'm ready to do whatever it is. And I feel physically exhausted, but give it a day or two, and you feel 100% better. So that's my piece of advice, and
I love it.
But I think everybody has to figure it out for themselves, right?
Yeah, and everybody's a little bit different there, but that's why it's important to do the inventory and not just listen to what you and I say. Do it to yourself. Find out what you're doing. Make the list. Take the time. Slow down. I told you that one before.
Slow it down. Yeah.
So, yep.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Joe.
So much. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you found this helpful. If you need to, you can contact Bob. He'll be right here in the description of this show. And you can work with him on, helping you out with your burnout. So this is Joe Justice, the Kanawha Valley Hustler, reminding you to hustle hard, hustle smart, and hustle with a smile.